So to divide these rational expressions, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to rewrite this first one, and then I'm going to flip and multiply the second one. So that would be m plus 2 over 3 minus m. And now let's go ahead and factor. So on top we have difference of squares, and on the bottom it's just a simple trinomial. So two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 5, that would be m plus 2 and m plus 3. And multiplied by, well, we've already done that one, and there's nothing to factor, except for the fact that, this second one, I'm looking at this 3 minus m. 3 minus m is very similar, but not the same as m minus 3. So I want to actually turn this into something that I can cancel. And so what I actually have to do is factor out a negative 1 from m minus 3. So factoring out a negative 1 would leave me with negative 3 plus m. And we've seen examples of this earlier. Basically, it's opposite by a factor of negative 1 to the other factors we have. So I'm factoring out negative 1, so it's basically that 3 minus m is the same as negative 1 times m minus 3. Or you could write that as negative m minus 3. And by doing that, factoring out that negative 1, it's going to let me do a little more canceling. So let's see what I can cancel here. Well, I can cancel that m minus 3 and that m minus 3. I can cancel this m plus 2 and that m plus 2. And that's it. Oh, actually, I can also cancel this m plus 3 and this m plus 3. So what does all that leave me with? Well, on top, everything is canceled. So basically, it's just a 1, a 1, a 1. If everything cancels, you're left with 1s. So in my numerator, I have a 1, and in my denominator, there's a 1, a 1, a 1, and a negative that you can see there. So that means on the denominator, I actually have negative 1. So 1 over negative 1, I can rewrite that simply as negative 1. So that's, after all that dividing and canceling, my final answer is negative 1.